The problem with selling home insurance is that clients don't care about the product, but that's all that agents ever really want to talk about. Let me explain. I used to sell home insurance, but I was basically just a glorified order taker. It wasn't entirely my fault because the only training I ever got before hitting the phones was on the product and software systems. But I kept running into a problem with my new home quotes. Every time a prospect called in or walked into the office, all I would do is walk them through an application and ask them questions so I can fill the boxes on my computer screen. When I did this, the only way I would ever win new business was if my home insurance quote was cheaper than what they were paying somewhere else. But then I learned how to sell beyond the product and create an emotional buying experience. Let me show you how. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you my one-page insurance proposal document to help me close way more business way faster than I could before. My name is David Rashty, and I'm the world's most humble insurance sales coach, helping producers like you attract, delight, and win more business. So if that sounds good to you, give this channel a quick subscribe. First thing you need to think about is reframing your approach. Too often, producers are just thinking in product. Forget the coverages, forget the underwriting guidelines, forget the exclusions and the price. What I'm inviting you to do is sell the dream of what your home insurance coverage can offer for your client. Here's the basic idea that we're going for. On the left side of the table, you see boring home insurance product facts. $2 million of liability, $450,000 replacement cost, $450,000 contents coverage, flood coverage. Boring. You look like an order taker. This is a transactional sale that you're positioning yourself for. But you can take the material facts of your coverage and translate those into emotional benefits. What does that look like? Well, for the $2 million liability coverage, what if there was a way you could position this with your client by saying, never worry about being on the hook if a fire spreads from your home to your neighbors with a comfortable liability limit? Can you detect the emotional resonance there? You're no longer just sharing a material fact. You're actually providing a vision, a scenario, a story for what the prospect can imagine when they choose to work with you and accept this product. The second example, that $450,000 replacement cost. Let's simplify this into a benefit. Rebuild your home exactly how you want it to be. Full stop. That's a much better story to tell. Contents coverage, same thing. Become GoFundMe proof by replacing all your stuff right after it's gone. You're really poking at emotional problems and creating that emotional connection with your product. And finally, that flood coverage example, water damage is worse than fire because there's no such thing as a partial loss when it comes to water. So sleep easy knowing that a burst pipe or sewer backup won't bankrupt you. Are you thinking like a millionaire real estate agent yet? Well, one of the keys here is that you don't want to just do pray and spray when it comes to connecting emotional reasons to buy. What I would suggest, and what I found successful in my career, is upfront when first having that conversation with the prospect, ask them some questions to uncover the emotional reasons why they might choose to work with you or buy your coverage. Here are some of my favorite questions to ask. You could ask something like, what's important to you about protecting your home? What would you do if a loss wasn't covered by your home insurance? Other than a fair price, which is important, don't get me wrong, what are you looking for in your home insurance partner? What would an agent or a broker need to do for you to earn your trust? On the flip side, what could your agent or broker do that would violate that trust and make you want to leave them? When you ask these questions in that first discovery meeting with a new prospect who calls in or walks in through your door, or that you were able to track down, what you do is uncover those emotional reasons why they make their decisions, and you're able to position yourself much more strategically and avoid the transactional order taker commodity trap. Now, of course, after you have this discovery meeting, you still need to pull together that quote or that proposal for the home insurance coverage that this prospect needs. And I'm not asking you to not do what you're already doing when it comes to the application, providing the quote, and presenting that offer. You can keep all of that, but I'm asking you to think about adding one additional step that will fundamentally change the way that buyers connect with what you're offering. Consider using a one-page insurance proposal summary. After you've gathered all the data that you need for the quote, You've uncovered all those reasons why a client might buy or might not buy from you. Then put all that information into a single page, put that on top of the quote that you prepared for the prospect, and share it with them. Walk them through it. Demonstrate that you heard what their needs were and that you have the perfect crafted solution to address all those needs. But here's actually where you go one step further from the product. All those emotional reasons to buy that we've already asked them about, you're connecting that in the proposal summary. Here's what it looks like when you're finally pulling it together. When you're presenting this to a prospect, I like to start with the left side, a column that says what we heard from you. And here's where you're going to detail 3 to 5 facts that the prospect shared with you that is important to them, demonstrating that you fully listened to what their needs were. Then what I do is I contrast that on the right side in the column that says what your future looks like. And then after presenting both of those columns, I get into the middle section here is your solution. So this will include, of course, the product and some of the coverages that meet those specific needs that they shared with you. But it's also going to share some of the things that are different about working with you and your agency or your brokerage. Let's say you have a really big team and that's one of your selling features. You say that no matter what, when a client calls into your office, there's always somebody available to work with them. You can include something like that in this middle solution section if that was something that you uncovered as a need from the prospect in that first meeting you had with them. After you walk them through all the different solutions, I would then include proof that this will work at the bottom of the page. You can keep this to something really simple, 2 to 3 proof points. And here's an example of what this looks like when it's completed. So after I've completed my discovery and now it's time to present my offer to the prospect, I start by presenting that left-hand side. What I heard from them in that first conversation. Let's say number 1, they shared with me that they're super concerned about potential water damage because they live at the bottom of a hill. The second thing they shared with me, they hate getting renewal increases from their agent without being notified ahead of time. And number 3, they shared with me that too much paperwork comes in, it's confusing, it's all over the place, and they can't keep track of what the latest document is. So what I do after presenting this, I'll pause and ask the prospect, did I understand you correctly? Is there anything else you would add to this? 9 times out of 10, because I listened well, they'll say, yep, nope, this is perfect, no changes needed. The odd time they'll say, well, I was also hoping to see something like this, and that's fine. And if they share that, I'll just update this document after the meeting and send them the updated version. Then what I do is show them what the future looks like. So again, number 1, they're worried about water because they live at the bottom of a hill. Well, your future could look like having comprehensive water coverage that protects most forms of damage. They told us that they hate getting renewal increases without being notified ahead of time. Well, in the future, what if they were proactively informed way ahead of the renewal date? Would that make a difference for them? And number 3, that issue about the paperwork. Well, what if we could promise them simplified and centralized paperwork, and it's only what they need, only when they need it? From here, what I would do is pivot into the solutions. So for this example, how we can achieve their needs, I can talk about that premier home package, or however it's titled for your company, which also includes that comprehensive water package. And I would share some of the features and benefits of that. I would talk to that $2 million liability limit and that replacement cost example as well. That's all the product stuff. But on the right hand, you can see some non-product features that also specifically address those emotional needs that they shared with us. Part of the service that you get with me is we'll actually have an annual policyholder review meeting at least 60 days before your next renewal, so you can stay proactively informed. And on top of that, to solve this paperwork issue, what if you had an online services portal where you could retrieve your digital documents, it's all categorized for you, and you can go paperless. Then you can also share with them the cost for the proposal that you're pulling together for them at the bottom. And just underneath, I want to give them some reasons why they should believe what I'm actually saying to them. So here are my proof points. Number 1, my company's been in business for over 30 years, and I myself have been in this role for more than 10. Number 2, check out our Google reviews. We've got over 500 reviews on Google with an average rating of 4.7 out of 5. And maybe that third proof point is a little testimonial that I can share from a client who's similar to the position that they are in now. Now, I wish I could take credit for this amazing one-page design, but I can't. This is actually a repurposed idea from an amazing sales training organization called the Rain Group, but they call it the Buyer Change Blueprint. For our insurance purposes, we call it the one-page insurance proposal summary. If you're interested in getting your own version of the one-page insurance proposal summary and use it as a template so you can wow your new prospects close business faster, and win more of those opportunities, click the link in the video description to get your template that you can personalize for each and every home insurance, auto insurance, or business insurance prospect who walks in through your door. And if this idea was useful for you, consider subscribing to my channel to learn more sales strategies and tactics to help you attract, delight, and win more insurance business. That's it for now.